Big announcement there by Prime Minister Narendra Modi as the African Union formally enters the G20 as a permanent member. Prime Minister Narendra Modi saying that it's a collective agreement and inviting the head of the African Union to come and take his place as the chair. Big announcement there by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. General KJ Singh with us, Veena Sikri with us. We also have Burzeen Wagmar, Veena ji. So one of the big boxes ticked, the formal inclusion. Many thought that this would be suggested, but then it may not happen until Brazil assumes chair. But this is the big plus that it has actually happened, and we have the Africa Union president or the chair leader of the African Union taking the place as a permanent member. Meena ji, I can't hear you. I'm just bringing in General KJ Singh. Sir, what an achievement for us that we've been able to convince nations and everybody has agreed, despite there being resistance initially, the African Union now. So that means it's a grouping of nearly 55 nations that takes the overall strength of the G20 nations to about 90 countries.
Anand, Jai Hind. And for us, like I did my peacekeeping building tenure in Angola. And for us, it's a great moment. And it is indeed the way PM Modi has orchestrated the whole thing. Not left it to any declaration, but has sealed it and put it through. So it's a great moment for Africa to join these negotiations. In true meaning, it's becoming an inclusive kind of a summit. See, when Bali summit finished, we were not so enthused. We thought, what is this G20? But the way it has been taken across India, I attended a meeting in Amritsar, and the way Gen Bhagidari has taken place, actually it was audacious, to take up subjects like cryptocurrency, biofuel, subjects where there is huge big difference of opinion, not basic consensus. So there are various ways to conduct a summit. It could be done normally, but I think PM Modi chose to do it on a grand scale, and he has done it differently. So India movement has arrived. The message probably would have been registered, and those who are missing out are really missing out. In the sense, somewhere we are also concerned that China is not there. What does it convey to us? Well, to us it means is that China is not yet interested in resolving the standoff. It is avoiding a discussion or being cornered on that issue. It also wants to convey a message that it is not giving so much importance to G20. It wants to deny India its India moment. Okay, that's not being very large-hearted, it's being, in a way, petty-minded. But sooner or later, China will have to come to a stage where it has to resolve that.
But General KJ Singh, in the spirit of this platform, we must concede that the Chinese Premier Li Qiang is here. It's not that only Wang Yi has been sent. The Chinese Premier is here, Li Qiang, and there is consensus that's been come. The consensus, because every nation has a veto power of the G20 platform to include the African Union. Everybody has agreed. So despite the hostilities, everybody is on a common plate to include the Africa Union. The other thing you said, sir, is that this is India's moment has come. We have to say Bharat's moment has come because the Prime Minister has actually used the nameplate Bharat. So clearly the intent is to use the civilizational name of Bharat more than using the given name of India going forward. Although for a lot of us it means the same. But for the government, I think there is an underpinning thought process here saying that this is Bharat's moment. That means that all of Bharat, not just restricted to a select few who were identifying themselves within perhaps the contours of the national capital and all of the politics. So G20 has been democratized, Jan Bhagidari taken to all of Bharat that Prime Minister Narendra Modi talked about, 60 plus cities, more than 200 meetings. But more importantly, he starts with a cultural anecdote that not so far from here stands the Vishnu Stamba. He was alluding to the Vishnu Stamba because 2500 years ago, it talked about humanity, and it talked about the well-being of all human beings on this planet. So India's message of human-centric growth, human-centric policies, human-centric globalization, human-centric approach, all of this, perhaps Prime Minister saying this is part of our civilizational ethos, so let's welcome it. So many statements and many perhaps symbolic cues there, optics there, Veena ji, but Africa Union right at the start of the G20 session getting the chair, and the Africa Union president being invited. How big is that a message to say that we can overcome differences, we can come together and work out these differences, because that's what the Prime Minister also called for the nations, said let's put our he said there is a trust deficit, and he said can we bridge that trust deficit? It was caused by COVID and perhaps amplified due to conflict.